Today's video is everything I know about homemade extracts. There will be a taste test video going up next time where I compare my homemade extracts to their store-bought versions. Subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to catch that. There are timestamps below if you want to skip around. This is the vanilla extract I made earlier this year. I used 1 ounce of beans, scraped and chopped, per 8 ounces of 80 proof bourbon. I used Ugandan vanilla beans in the vanilla extract video, but I also made a second batch on the side. In the other batch, which was much smaller, I used grade B mixed origin vanilla beans, so an assortment of different varieties. After just a couple months, the mixed origin batch was smelling really potent, and so I started using that. I left the beans in the bottle to continue steeping as I was using it. The Ugandan vanilla beans have a unique sweet and chocolatey smell that the mixed origin beans don't have, but the Ugandan beans turned out to have a much more subdued flavor and aroma than the mixed origin ones, so it took a while longer before that extract was ready to use. For both extracts, I'm glad I used bourbon. It's an especially welcome addition to the mellow flavor of the Ugandan extract. About vanilla beans, the more complex flavors that come from vanilla beans don't make it through the baking process. Several reliable sources, most notably Cooks Illustrated, have done blind taste tests and concluded that artificial vanilla is indistinguishable from real vanilla in cooked recipes. So if using artificial vanilla is an option that's on the table for you, it would be a prudent choice for baked goods and other recipes where the vanilla is added before or during cooking. If natural vanilla is non-negotiable for you and you'll be using it for cooking, your best choice of bean is whatever is strongest and most economical. Prices of vanilla beans change a lot, so the type that's most affordable when you're shopping will likely vary. Individual varieties like Ugandan, Tahitian, or Madagascar are great to experiment with when you're adding vanilla to recipes that aren't cooked, or if you're stirring it in at the very end of the cooking process. Vanilla beans for extract can be reused or continuously used for quite a while, so I occasionally top off my little bottle here with the big bottle of Ugandan vanilla, and then top off the big bottle with more bourbon, all the while leaving the beans in both bottles. That way I can continue to steep the vanilla and get my money's worth from the beans for very little effort, and the little bottle is always done and ready to use. Bourbon is a great alcohol choice for vanilla extract because bourbon flavor pairs so well with vanilla and it just seems to taste good in everything that vanilla does. But I want to keep the flavors more simple today, especially since I'll be comparing the flavor to store-bought stuff, so I'll be using vodka. A major consideration when choosing the liquor for your extracts is the alcohol by volume. Both the water and the alcohol content of the liquor are important for thorough flavor extraction. No matter what type of liquor is used, it's best to aim for something that's between 70 to 100 proof, so between 35% and 50% alcohol by volume. Too low of an alcohol content could allow the mixture to ferment, while too much could make the solids brittle and dry, prematurely halting the extraction process. I'm using an 80 proof bottom shelf vodka today. A lot of people wish to or need to completely avoid using alcohol for their extracts, so I do want to address that. Unfortunately, there are no perfect substitutes for alcohol in homemade extracts, but there is a method using vegetable glycerin. For vanilla extract specifically, reliable sources recommend substituting the alcohol with a mixture of food-grade glycerin to water at a ratio of 3:1. While this does work, it will take longer to infuse than an alcohol-based extract and won't provide the same flavor profiles. This method should be usable for the vanilla, chocolate, and lavender extracts since the solids have very little water content, but I would have some reservations about using this method for lemon and orange extract due to the water content of the zest. Glycerin doesn't have the same antimicrobial properties as alcohol, and it's possible that the lemon and orange zest could serve as incubators for undesired bacteria. I have found anecdotal evidence in various blogs that the glycerin mixture can be used with lemon and orange extracts, but since none of them address the bacteria issue, I can't personally endorse it. If any food safety experts happen past, I would really appreciate any opinions if you have them. These are the 4 ounce bottles I'm using. Whether you use dark bottles or regular bottles is up to you. Although the dark bottles will prevent UV degradation in some extracts, I wasn't able to find any concrete evidence showing that protecting extracts from every ray of incidental light has a noticeable effect on the taste. As long as you're keeping it in some sort of cabinet or drawer, it'll probably be fine in regular glass. If you think you'll be keeping your bottle of extract around for a very extended period of time, or if there's frequent light exposure in the place you're storing it, then storing in amber glass would be the safer choice. If you're really determined to protect your extracts without purchasing special bottles, you could cover the bottles using fabric or paper. Today I'm making lemon, orange, chocolate, and lavender extracts. I'm starting with lemon extract. These are very fresh lemons that have been thoroughly washed. I'm using a vegetable peeler to remove just the outer yellow part of the peel. The good thing about using a vegetable peeler is that the big flat pieces of peel make it easy to find and remove any bits of white pith, which could add a bitter taste to the extract. If you have a lemon zester, that would be even better. A side note on citrus, the white pith of a lemon isn't bitter on its own, but a chemical reaction happens when the components of the zest and pith are broken down and combined, and this can create an intense bitterness. So that's why it's important to remove the pith for a lot of recipes. I'm filling this jar with loosely packed lemon zest and then topping it up with vodka. It took 5 lemons to fill my jar. The extract is ready to steep, and I put these lemons aside to make some strawberry lemonade. What my vanilla experience showed me earlier was that at home, without the strictly controlled ingredients and advanced testing equipment that a company like McCormick would have, making extracts is an art as much as it is a science. The flavor that comes out reflects the flavor that's put in, and of course produce like vanilla beans and citrus fruits naturally vary in flavor and intensity, not to mention the variation that comes from the alcohol that's used. So at home, an exact recipe that will produce an exact intensity of flavor isn't super realistic. But that's okay because we all have different preferences anyway. Because of the oil content and the potency of lemons, I would expect the homemade lemon extract to be ready to use in about a month and really hit peak potency around 2 months. But again, this depends on personal preference and also the lemons that you're using. I made the orange extract in the same way I made the lemon. It took 4 oranges. For the lavender extract, I'm filling the jar 1/3 of the way with dried lavender petals, which I found in the spice section of my grocery store, and I'm topping it off from there. My entire kitchen already smells like lavender, so I have a feeling it could get really strong. And last but not least, I'm making chocolate extract using raw cacao nibs. I'm going to do 2 batches, one steeped in my vanilla extract and one in vodka. I'll let you know next time how they turn out. I'm filling the bottles up halfway with cacao nibs and topping off. To keep my experiment simple, I'm going to steep all of these for the same amount of time, 2 months. You might find that you prefer a different amount of time for your extracts to get them just the way you want. If you're making these at home, I recommend straining floral extracts as soon as the taste is to your liking because while extra potent vanilla or chocolate might be appetizing, potent lavender extract can turn a delicate lavender butter cookie into potpourri. Keeping the extract ingredients submerged in alcohol is important for maintaining quality, so I would also recommend straining the citrus extracts as soon as they're ready because the peels will get exposed to the air pretty quickly once you start to use the extract. My extracts will be steeping for 2 months before my taste test, but thanks to movie magic, that video will be up next week. Hopefully I'll catch you then. Thank you for watching. Bye.